What's good? We back with the Boxing Clinic and more. It's your boy CJ Goodfella back on the boxing grind. And Nathaniel Gallimore out of Kingston, Jamaica, I think it's Kingston, has been talking cash, money, junk, to Julian J.Rock Williams. And we know J.Rock was stopped by Jamal Charlo last year, the year after last, I believe. And Gallimore is saying that Team J.Rock is ducking him. They ducked him for the Ishe Smith fight. He said his excuse, J-Rock excuse, was that Ishe Smith people offered him more money, which is probably factual. That's TMT money team. And he says that, him and Julian J-Rock Williams was supposed to land on the Sergey Lipinets and Mikey Garcia undercard February 17th. They were supposed to be the co-feature. He said, whatever reason that fell apart, he didn't blame that on J-Rock. Now he says that Rancis Bartholomew, he's going to be rematching for the vacant WBA title. That's the fight is the co-feature. He said, that fight with J-Rock should happen. I think he said February, January, March or something like that in the first quarter. He says that fight still should happen, but he says they was ducking him. He says, him, Erickson Lubin. He said these guys are guys that was babied on their way up. And you seen what happened when they stepped up because they didn't take a tough fighter's route to get to their championship. Now, J-Rock took some tough fights. I don't care what he said about that one. He lying. He fought Hugo Centennial Jr., he fought another couple undefeated guys. He fought his way up. He earned his spot, Julian J-Rock. He just simply wasn't the fighter that Jamal Charlo was. Jamal Charlo seemed to be a special fighter at 154 pounds. But Erickson Lubin, he didn't fight a losing record either, but he didn't fight that step-up fight. He was right on Erickson Lubin. And I believe he was going back and forth with Justin De La Roche. If you don't know who Nathaniel Gallimore is, he's the guy who knocked out Justin De La Roche. He knocked him out last time out in a vicious knockout. Deloach didn't train Ronnie Shields anymore. I heard he was with somebody else, and he got knocked out by Nathaniel Gallimore. Gallimore does have a loss in the draw on his record. His loss was a split decision loss versus a guy from Lithuania. We know J-Rock has been knocked out, but he hasn't looked the same since he's been knocked out. And Nathaniel Gallimore said he struggled with Julian J-Rock. He said that's a guy that he was supposed to basically run through. And I'm going to link this Fight Hype interview in the description. Shout out to Ben Thompson, Fight Hype one time for the one time. But yeah, this is a dangerous fight for J-Rock. He hasn't looked good. He didn't look good versus Henry Ramirez guy, I forget his name, that he came back and fight on Bounce TV earlier last year. Henry Ramirez is Chris Ariola's trainer. The guy he didn't look good until when he stopped him. He didn't look good versus Ishe Smith from what I saw. And Nathaniel Gallimore is a power puncher. He's 21-1 with 17 knockouts. And I don't think J-Rock is fully recovered from that knockout. He may not recover. But Nathaniel Gallimore has been very vocal. He told Justin Deloach what he was going to do to him on Instagram. I believe he told Erickson Lubin that he would give him that work as well. And, all three of them being knocked out this past year. And, he's the last man standing. He's a guy that had the tough road, according to him. And he's ready to prove his worth. He said if they won't fight me, he said I put myself in a position where they have no other choice but to fight me. I'm going to keep moving up the ranks. He got the right mind state. He's hungry. He's very hungry, and that's a dangerous fight for Julian J-Rock Williams. And, anytime a guy has that confidence and that, that aggressive nature and that Billy Badass nature to want to move up and want to grind, and he's hungry like that, he's dangerous, If I was Julian J-Rock, I swerve him for right now, man. I wouldn't fight him in the next 3 quarters, Unless it was a title eliminator for a mandatory, it was for a title on the line. In my opinion, he don't need that right now. He needs some more comeback fights. And anytime you struggle with Ishe Smith like that, you're not ready. He's more active. I take some more soft touch fights, man, because he's not all the way back yet. Mentally and physically, I don't believe he's all the way back. Just take your time. Gallimore is probably gonna kill him. But you never know. Maybe this is the what is this? This his second fight back, his third fight back. After being knocked out, maybe the third time's a charm. As a fighter, if a guy calling your manhood out like that, then you gotta challenge him, no matter the circumstances. So it should be a good fight. Hopefully, it lands on a good card. It could possibly land on Yeah, that's a good question. What could it land on? If it's in January, I think Earl Spence is too close around the corner. Earl Spencer Peterson card is too close. Maybe if Adonis Stevenson and Adonis Stevenson and Badou Jack get a first quarter date, that could be the third fight on that one. Or because the co-feature is going to be Aldir Alvarez versus Gufik. Possibly it can fall on the Broner Omar Figueroa card if they can get that fight together. It can fall on the Danny and Brandon Rios card in Vegas. That makes sense. J-Rock just fought Ishe Smith in Vegas, so he got a little buzz out there. So, if J-Rock accepts the terms and like Gallimore said, they pose the fight and it's locked in, for them to fight. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. You know, I favor Gallimore heavy to knock Julian Williams face in the dirt. I just don't think J.Rock's all the way back, but he's a very talented Philly fighter. You know what surprised me was upset Gallimore. He's been beat before. He's got a draw before. He's not invincible, but he's a power punching machine from Jamaica. So we'll see what's going on. Let me know what y'all think about this. We gone.